Hello and a very warm welcome to Crafters TV. Welcome to Friday. Welcome to our preview of the pick of the week, and we have a fantastic launch coming up today, later on the day here at Crafters TV. But we did it last Friday, we're going to repeat it this Friday. We're going to be a little bit sneaky, and you guys that are up early, perhaps you're up very, very early stateside, perhaps you're joining us from the UK. Well, it's not too early, but if you want to get in a little bit earlier when it comes to that pick of the week, this is the time to do it, because we've got a fantastic preview of the pick of the week. And exactly the same as last week, I do say a preview, however, you can still shop on the website. So if you do want to grab your collection now, and then you can sit back and relax as Craig shows you all these fantastic demos later in the day, you can sit back knowing that you've got your fantastic collection. So now is definitely the best time. This is where, I always say, this is where the savvy shoppers buy their collections so they can just relax for the rest of the day. So I will be sharing this fantastic collection with you, and you may have noticed I've got a lovely new apron on. And you guys can get your hands on this fantastic apron as well. So this is actually part of our Showstopper, and I have been advised, literally, there you go, I've been told I'm crafting royalty, and you guys at home can also similarly be crafting royalty if you're going for your Showstopper, because this fantastic apron is part of our Showstopper. Now I know you guys at home have been asking for goodness knows how long for brand new Crafters Companion merchandise. We've listened. Believe you me, us guys in the office have been begging just as much as you guys at home, and we have finally, our prayers have been answered, and we have got a fantastic brand new apron. Little birdie tells me there might be other items coming next week. Who knows? But you can start your collection today with this fantastic brand new apron that is coming part of your Showstopper collection. Now I will show you the items that come in as part of your Showstopper in just a few moments, but if you're wanting to shop for this one, I have been advised the best way to do that is get yourself over on the website, click through the shop the day buttons on the Crafters TV page, and you will find this fantastic Showstopper collection. Now the headline for that, yes, you're getting a fantastic new apron, yes, you're getting the amazing new Pasta La Vista collection, but for you guys stateside, the headline for this one is the fact that it is a tariff-free bundle. We've worked our magic, so the Showstopper is a tariff-free bundle. So if you all want to go for the Showstopper, no crazy sky-high tariffs for you guys stateside, you are getting your fantastic tariff-free Showstopper, which we're all super, super excited. I have to say, we've got a lot to be excited about today. New collection, new merch, and tariff-free. It doesn't get much better than that. But before we dive into the collection, before I show you all the amazing components of our Pasta La Vista, we will say a few hellos to all the lovely people that are watching along with us this morning. Now, I know I do this every Friday, but anytime they're on at 10 a.m, I know a lot of you guys in the UK will be watching, but if you are watching elsewhere in the world, let me know who's going to be the earliest time that you're watching today. Is it going to be any 2 a.m s? We had some of those last Friday. Anybody earlier? Anybody in the middle of the night? Anybody Australia? Let us know where, and let me know where you're watching from as well. Is it in the UK? Is it US? Is it elsewhere? Let us know. I'm very nosy. I do like to know that sort of thing. So let's have a little hello to all you guys at home. Jan's with us on the socials for this morning, so hello to Jan first of all. We've got Julie Palmer saying good morning from sunny Ipswich. It's meant to be sunny here today. It's not super sunny yet, but hopefully, fingers crossed, come 5 o'clock tonight, the sun will be out, so we shall see on that one. Lois is saying good morning everyone from Ohio. Lois, what time is it in Ohio? Let us know. I can imagine it's probably pretty early over in there. Lois is also saying, I'm ready for lots of giggles with this collection. So glad I have it. Well, Lois, I'm going to try and rein myself in a little bit when it comes to the puns, because I'm very conscious that Ben's here for the rest of the day. You've got him on Wake Up Call. You've got him for the actual launch. You've got him for Crafts Under the Hammer. Yes, it is back. He'll be over there at his plinth, banging his little mallet come 3 o'clock this afternoon. And he'll be on Friday Night Live, so there'll be plenty of puns. So I'm going to try and keep the puns to a minimum, because otherwise you'll be all punned out by the end of the day. So I'll try and keep those in check a little bit more. So they will be coming later in the day, I do promise you that one. Stephen Nichols in saying, good morning, Lilly Fletcher, Crafters Companion. Bought the pick of the week with the bog off. I'll be watching you. I will talk about the Showstopper and the bonus buy in just a few moments' time when we go through the collection. Louise Burton's in saying, hello, everyone. Lynn Harvey's in saying, hi, Lily, the amazing CTV team, the wonderful social superstar, Jan and everyone. I have a day off work today. Ooh, exciting, look at you. So what better way to spend it than watching my favourite shows? Got plenty. Well, how many shows? Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shows. 5 shows. Exciting. Lots of variety today. Carol Duncan's in saying good morning all, and Lynn Harvey's saying love the apron. Thank you, Lynn. You can be the proud owner of one of these as well if you're going for your Showstopper. Pamela Greenish is also saying good morning everyone from a sunny Stevenage. And finally, Pauline Hassel is saying good morning Lily and everyone. Right, enough hellos for now. I think it's time that I showed you this fantastic collection. Now, this is a great collection because it's a nice little compact collection. It's not a humongous collection. You're not getting tons and tons of stamps and dies and embossing folders and all sorts, and it can sometimes be a little bit overwhelming. What we've done is we've cherry picked almost like the best of the best when it comes to this collection, and we've all got it matching together absolutely perfectly in this nice little compact collection. So I'm going to start off with Pasta Party, because I have to say this has got to be my favourite of the stamp and die sets. It's absolutely incredible. So if we have a little look at the bottom there, we've got all of our little stamps with our matching dies of all your different types of pasta there. I have to say I'm no pasta expert, so I can't go through all of them. I do know ravioli, fusilli, or is that penne? Penne, fusilli maybe. That's about me. Macaroni, we're thinking, or did Jamie think another one was macaroni? That one, macaroni bow. I'm sure it's got to have a better name than bow. Anybody? I tell you what. Tell me what I think. Oh, that one's tortellini, I think. My favourite one is not on there, I have to say. Disci Volante is my favourite one. Flying saucer. So that's my only complaint with the collection. No Disci Volante on there. Yes, Johnny's saying you don't get it round here. You do in my cupboards, Johnny. I do have some Disci Volante, and yes, it's the posh stuff. But unfortunately, if we did a part 2 of Pasta La Vista, that would be one of my top requests. Get your Disci Volante on there. So anyway, those are all your different pasta shapes, all with their matching dies to cut all those out perfectly. And then at the top here, this is what makes this set so much fun. You've got all your different little pieces to build your pasta into characters. So of course you can use them, as you see there, just as standard pieces of pasta, but bring in all your little icons here. So you've got all your different little facial expressions, you've got your different arms, your legs, you can do all different sort of poses, different sort of configurations, and make something really fun. So a little example here, I'll just bring in this little ravioli that we were already stamped and die cut ahead of time. We'll be using this one in the first demo actually. How cute is he? He's almost like he's bursting out, he's got his arms up in the air, he's quite happy there. That's the sort of thing you can be creating using these fantastic stamps, and that's what it's all about. It's all about building your own characters, all about mixing and matching. I'd love to sit and calculate how many combinations there are, but I think that would take an awfully long time, so we won't do that. We'll just say lots of combinations when it comes to that one. So that's your first step, that's your Pasta Party. Next up we've got, I did say I'm going to try and hold back on the puns, but unfortunately the name of this set here is a pun, All the Pastabilities. So I'm just going to catch that in the light there. That's a 2D embossing folder with all your different types of pasta on that one. So it's been designed perfectly to match alongside that stamp and die set you've got there. You've got all those different types of pasta are the same throughout the stamp and that embossing folder there. It looks absolutely incredible with your mirror card. But I'll tell you what we'll be doing a little bit later on. We'll be doing that with some of our linen card and we'll be sanding it back. So very easy for quick and easy cards. This is a perfect one. Just emboss it, add a little bit of colour perhaps, matte and layer sentiment, and you are good to go. Great for all those last minute makes with that one. Just cashing it in the light there, you can see that beautiful dimension. Nothing from stopping you as well, because you've got a nice little bit of space between each and every single one of those shapes. Going in with your pair of scissors and actually fussy cutting those out and using them as separate embellishments. So you don't always need to use it as that 4x6 inch panel that you see there. And then finally, this is what I would definitely describe as sort of the crowning glory of this collection. This is a fantastic stamp set. Now, I'm not going to read all these out, but I have to say when I was creating this board, when I was stamping these out, I sat in the office, I must have looked a little bit strange, so I sat there chuckling to myself. Every time I was reading these sentiments, they just give you a giggle, which I think is fantastic. It's so uplifting to be adding these to your cards. So you've got, I'll read you perhaps a few of my favourites. So you have got, I want to pass the time away with you. That's a highlight. I can only imagine life without you. If perhaps you're using some of the elements from our Celebrate the Good Times, you've got elements that could work nicely with You Pasta Your Test. Live Your Pesto Life. Never Regretty, Eating Spaghetti. You get all of those included. You're getting 27 different sentiment stamp set, and they're all separate, all clear stamps, so you can perhaps even multiple stamp them, build up your backgrounds, all sorts you can do with these, but they really are what makes this collection so super special. So that's included, that's sort of your hardware. And then next up, the final piece within this collection is your fantastic paper pad. Now this is 6x6 inch in size. You are getting 18 designs, 2 of each, which is fantastic, which is giving you 32? 36? 36, 18 times 2, 36. 36 sheets, there you go. So 18 designs, 2 of each. Somebody's already been into this one, which is a shame. I promise this time actually wasn't me. But you're getting all sorts of different designs in this one. Some of them are very much pasta themed. Some of them are a little bit more universal, like your checks, your ginghams that you can be using alongside other things. Lots of different scope within this one. Lots of very sort of what I'd describe as kind of like a staple design in your craft stash. I think things like your stripes, things like your checks, and then you've got, as you can see here, more of your pasta specific designs here with all those different icons in the background, your little wavy stripes. I mean, that could almost be like confetti, perhaps on a cupcake, or almost like a party popper sort of idea with that one. You've got your lovely little swirly, curly lines, all your polka dots, lovely colourways as well. You've got your little knives and forks, which you could be using. I tell you what, you could be using that one with. If you've got our Modern Man collection, you've got your little barbecue die in that collection. You could be using your little knives and forks alongside your barbecue die set there, your stripes, or your little bow pasta. If anybody knows the proper name for this, because I'm sure it must have an Italian name. Anybody, any Italian speakers out there, please let me know, because we're just calling it bow pasta, and it feels a little bit like we're doing a bit of a what are you saying, Jameson? Farfalle? Oh, Catherine Bennett's coming. Look, Catherine Bennett said the bow is farfalle. I've probably said that totally wrong, so I do apologise, Catherine, but thank you. I knew it was a much fancier name. And then you've got almost like, would we call it a bit like spaghetti perhaps at the end, or tagliatelle perhaps? But you've got all those gorgeous designs, 36 different sheets there, 18 designs, 2 of each, and they are all uncoated as well, which allows you to add your inks, your glitters, anything like that as well. So that's your paper pad, that's your showstopper, so you're getting your fantastic collection there. Then of course you are getting your apron as well. If you're wanting to get your hands on our brand new Crafters Companion merch, and the headline thing for all you guys stateside is the showstopper. The bundle itself for the showstopper is tariff-free. So no crazy tariffs on your showstopper. That is going to come to you tariff-free. Now, I will just reference the fact that with a showstopper, you guys at home that watch day in, day out, you guys will know that when it comes to a showstopper, we tend to have a bonus buy as well, which becomes half price when you add it with your showstopper. We do have one of those. I know in the later shows, the guys will be showing you that fantastic bonus buy, which is all about your classic pens. The only thing that I do need to quickly highlight with that one is that the bonus buy isn't tariff-free, but the showstopper is. So you can just go for the showstopper on its own, and that's going to be tariff-free. But please do just be aware, if you are over in the States, if you do add in that bonus buy, the bonus buy unfortunately is not tariff-free. So just something to bear in mind if you are thinking of going for your bonus buy. So that's your fabulous collection. We will get into demo in just a few moments, but I've noticed all that time that I've been waffling on, we've got loads and loads of comments coming through, so I will quickly have a little read of those. And Jamie Naria is thinking along the same lines that I am as well. I've said my favourite pasta. We want to know, you guys at home, what's your favourite pasta? It could be a pasta shape, so for me, like me, dishy volante, or it could be a pasta dish like carbonara, bolognese, whatever it might be. Let us know. Pick one or the other, or go for both. Let us know. I'm very nosy, so please let us know, and we will have a little read of those. Jamie Mayer had lasagna last night. Very good. Top choice. We're liking that a lot. I'm trying to work out where I got up to. I think I read Pauline's last, so we'll go on to Lenore. It's saying, good morning from New York. Oh my goodness, it's 5:03 a.m. Yes, a.m. I just couldn't sleep. Did you say tariff-free? Yes, Lenore, I said tariff-free. Shout it from the rooftops. She's put it in capitals, which meant I did have to shout it, so I do apologise. Lois is saying 5 a.m, so 2 very early birds over in the comments this morning. Fabulous question coming in from Lois. Question, please. Should we stamp the pasta and then the faces, or the other way around? Great question, Lois. I'll tell you what I tend to do is I'll stamp out the pasta shape, and then I'll stamp the face or the legs or the arms or whatever afterwards. I find it a lot easier to position it that way. Then you've got almost like the outline of the body, if you like, and then you just add in the features on afterwards. So I definitely stamp your pasta outline first, and then add your features, and then if you want to die cut it, then I'll die cut it afterwards, and then colour. That's where that I found easier. I tell you what is a really good companion for, especially little faces. If you bought our little love heart stamp and die kit that we did last year, I think, maybe earlier this year, that had the little love heart, you had the panel die with all the little stamps. There was a tiny little acrylic block that came in there. It must have been about 1 inch or 2 small. That is absolutely fantastic. If you've got that in your stash for all the little faces, the arms, the legs, that's a brilliant one to be digging out and using alongside these. We've got Tammy saying, hello everyone from Indiana at 5 a.m. That's 3 now at 5 a.m. Wow. LDD on YouTube is saying, hi Lily and all the CTV team from the farm near Philadelphia. It is dawn here and just after 5 a.m. for 5 a.m.ers. Altje is saying, good morning everyone from the Netherlands, CTV community team, Jan and Lily. Hello Altje. Is it early in the Netherlands? It's 11. A little bit later, a little bit of a more sociable hour for you, Alcha. Lois is saying, thank you, Lily, for answering my question. Right, I think it's time. Now we're up to date in terms of the comments. I think it's time to get into a demo, which is exactly what we are going to do now. So we're going to create I have to say it's a card style I seem to be doing more and more, so I do apologise if you've seen me make tons of these in the past few months, but it's a dome style card, so I had a little bit of a brainwave that I'll be sharing with you as we move throughout this demo. So first of all, we start with a piece of white cardstock that we've cut down to 4.5 by 5.5, and all we've done is we've scored 1/2 inch from the left, so we've got that little glue tab there. And we've done exactly the same on the other side. So we've got our 2 1/2-inch glue tabs on either side of there. You can see just folded like so. Then what we've got is we've got a few mats and layers that will go onto there. So they're 1/8 of an inch increments on there, using that fantastic paper from the paper pad and bringing in a really thin border of our black card just to really make that lovely bright colour pop onto there. Now what we've got as almost like our backer for our dome card here is it's cut to exactly the same height as our bit that will be wrapping around, so it's cut to 4.5 inches in height, but this section in the middle here, so the section without our score lines there, is measuring at 4.5, and what I tend to do is I tend to cut that back panel to about 1/2 inch smaller, so that's 4.5 by 4, and if we start to bring those together and wrap them around there, you can see that's starting to give that. Obviously, it'd be a lot easier once it's stuck together, but you've got a nice little dome to there. Now, if you want a larger dome, more of a curve to that, all you're going to do is you're going to cut this piece, the backer piece, a little bit thinner, so a smaller width. If you want just a very gentle dome, then cut it a little bit wider. It's almost like a little bit of trial and error, but I tend to find personally, I prefer it about 1/2 inch smaller. That gives me the sort of nice size of dome that I prefer. So before we start to stick that together, we need to start to cut some apertures into our dome here. So we're going to pop that onto there, and what I've done is I'm taking some of my nesting dies here. So I've got a lovely circle nesting down. Now cutting through 3 layers of that card might be a bridge too far, quite frankly, so what we'll do is we'll cut through these 2 layers first, and what we've done is we've stuck them together. These have been drying for a few days now, so it'll be perfectly dry in terms of your glue. The key thing is if you're using a wet glue, something like your all-purpose, just make sure that that's fully dry before you run it back through your die cutting machine. However, if you are using something it sounds a bit strange to say a dry adhesive, but something like a tape that is almost dried instantly and doesn't have that drying time. So like a finger lift tape or your tape pen, you obviously don't need to wait for that to dry and you can die cut it straight away. But because we've used our all-purpose on there, we've just given it enough time to dry. So that's going on to the centre of there. Once again, I'm trying to tape on the waist, which is the section in the centre. That circle in the middle is going to be almost like the dropout piece. So we're going to try and keep the low tack tape on that piece. So as it goes through that die cutting machine, if it does rip that cardstock due to the pressure in the machine, that's no problem at all, because that's just our waste piece that we're going to be removing. So we'll just run that through our machine there, and that's going to give us that lovely aperture frame into the centre. Now I'm trying to think, I did a nesting dies crafty stash. It might have been this week, I think. Was it Monday? It was Monday. It was Monday. Honestly, all the days, all the weeks are blurring into one. But yeah, we did a crafty stash 10 a.m. This Monday on nesting dies. So if you are wanting to basically learn why I love them so much, then that's a great one to catch up on. So that's our aperture into the centre of here. Now, what we could be doing is we could be taking this panel that's going to go behind, and we could be desperately taking this same die here and trying our very, very best to line that up in the centre. Now, you can usually get it pretty level, but it's quite hard to get it absolutely perfect. So my top tip, and this is something I always do when I'm cutting almost like multiple apertures like this, is we're going to take just the die larger. So it's 1 die up from the one that we've used to die cut that aperture. I'm going to pop that in the centre there. Now, obviously, we're going to try our best to get this centrally, but because it's ever so slightly smaller, it basically just gives us a little bit of wiggle room, so it doesn't have to be perfectly lined up with that top layer. And because that's now going to be behind that layer, if it is ever so slightly off, you're not going to see from the reverse, and it's just going to give you that neater and easier sort of technique of doing this look for your card. So I'll just tape that, once again, taping into the centre there. I mean, it's not going to be the end of the world if we do end up ripping a little bit around that aperture. It doesn't matter too much, simply because we are going to obviously be adding that piece over the top. Now this time around, we're only die cutting through, oh, I've got a bit of muck on my plate, let me just get rid of that. We're only die cutting through 1 layer of our card here, so we don't need to actually add in our magnetic shim. We're just going to go with our cutting plate, our clear or our frosted shim, and then our cutting plate over the top there. So we've just taken out our magnetic. Just because it's a sort of a straight edge nesting dies, there's no sort of intricacy or detail to the die. We don't need to have that extra help of the magnetic. And it's just going to make sure that your plates, they sort of prolong the life a little bit more. You're not putting as much stress and pressure on this poor little machine, unlike when Debbie Fisher breaks them. Having said that, I'll probably, it'll come back to bite me. I'll probably end up breaking it now, won't I? I'll try not to. I'll try my very best. I'll try not to. What was it she did? She put something like a magnetic sheet. Oh, Debbie. It's all right. I don't, well, it's all, I say it's all right. I hope she's not watching. She won't speak to me. Oh, she did. I'm hearing she made a joke about it, so I should be safe. But yes, don't do that. Definitely don't pop your magnetic sheets next to the rollers. So we've got our 2 apertures there. If we turn that over, you can see that aperture on the back piece is ever so slightly larger, but on the front there it just looks like we've got that lovely perfectly lined up aperture, which is definitely what we want with these. I think I'll go in with my tape pen just so it's going to be dried instantly so we can shape it. Oh gosh, I've just dropped my poke tool in the bin. Do you know what, that's the second time I've dropped in the past half an hour. I've dropped 2 things in this bin. First of all, good job it's empty. It was the whole roll of kitchen roll went straight in the bin. Now it's the poke tool, so it's like Calamity Jane in here, isn't it? It's not too good. Oh, now I've got the dodgy tape pen. Who's left that on there? I'll blame Debbie Fisher. That seems to be the theme of today. We'll blame Debbie Fisher. Well, yeah, that is true. She has been in all week. I'll try and sort that out afterwards. Let's go back to one that we know definitely works. There we go. Cooking on gas now. Right, that's going to go onto the centre of our piece here. Just going to try, do you know what I'll do? I think I'll fold back these 2 tabs here just so it's a little bit easier to get that central. And we'll just take that, making sure that's the right way around. And we'll just line that up in the middle of that piece there, giving us a nice even border of that white card all around the edge there. Now what we're going to do with this one, with it being a dome card, we need to start to add in a little bit of shape to this piece here. So before we actually stick it down, it's going to give you a much neater look and you're going to be much less likely to end up potentially sort of cracking your cardstock by giving it a nice little shape on there. So we're just going to bend that round, making sure that glue is still nicely attached onto there. And we're just going to start to give that a gentle shape. You can see how that's starting to bend around that curve, just like so. But before we start to stick that onto that backing piece, what we've got here is we've got a couple of little frames that we've just die cut from white and black card, and we're just going to stick those 2 together and have that nice sort of like double frame around our aperture there. So what we'll do is we'll take our piece off our black die cut frame. Now, anybody that tuned in on Monday, you'll know that I discovered that our tacky glue bottle is missing the pin in the top, which means we can't, well, I couldn't get any of the glue out. It must have dried sort of around the lid. So we've still not found, 5 days later, we've still not found the pin. So whoever was the culprit of that one, we can't blame Debbie Fisher for that one because she wasn't in last week. But yeah, it's still not turned up. It's still gone. So we're going in with the dotted tape pen. If I was able to use the tacky glue, then I would be using your tacky glue and your fine tip glue applicator. But your dotted tape pen will still do the trick. We'll just manoeuvre that into position, into the centre of that white frame, which gives that lovely sort of double frame ideal there. And then we'll just go in once again with our dotted tape pen onto the back of that, and then that will just go onto our dome, just to sort of nicely frame that aperture, just to make it look a little bit more finished almost. So we'll go around with our dotted tape pen onto the back of there, and then that will just be stuck onto our aperture. So the inner sort of size of this frame here is exactly the same die that's being used to cut that aperture, so it should just line up perfectly around that aperture. Just give that a second just to manoeuvre it into place. Then once we're happy with where that's positioned, we'll just go in, just give that a nice little burnish there, just to make sure that's nicely adhered. Just before we start to sort of manipulate it, just to make sure it's all nicely stuck down. Got a tiny little bit of glue there. So we'll just rub that away. I can't find my glue eraser, so my little hack that I've found is that the top of a poker tool does the trick quite nicely. There we go. So if you wondered why we've got a rubber cap, there you go. I've found a use for it. There you go. So we've got our lovely little frame there with our aperture into the centre, and this is just going to wrap around where we've got that lovely little piece of pattern paper there. It's just going to wrap around there. It gives you that lovely little dome. So what we'll do is we'll take our tape pen. You can be using red liner tape, but just for speed, we'll go in with our tape pen and we'll just add some tape onto the inside of both of these flaps here. So just going down And then what I tend to do is I find it a little bit easier to do this from the reverse rather than from the front piece there. And we'll just line that up. So I'm lining up the edge of this piece here with that score line. And all we'll do is we'll just wrap that round, just focusing on one side at a time. I'm not bothering about the right hand side just yet, just focusing on that left hand side. Give it a good old burnish. And then all we'll do is we'll just pull that round. So making sure we've got plenty of shape in that dome, just so it's going to wrap around nice and easily. And then all we'll do is we'll do exactly the same in terms of lining that edge of the cardstock up with that score line. Then once we're happy, we'll just start to fold that together. You can, of course, use something like your tacky glue on the back of there, just to give you a little bit of time to manoeuvre that around. But once you're happy, just give it a good old burnish, and that's going to give you that nice dimension to your dome cards. Now, these don't actually fall flat. These will have to go into something like a box or an envelope box if you are posting them, but it does give, I always think it gives such a nice wow with a dome card. So that's the dome itself done. We'll start to pop that onto a card base. We've got that lovely pattern paper, so exactly the same that we've used in the back of that dome there, and once again mats and layered onto some of our black card, just to keep that nice flow between all of our mats and layers. And we'll go around with our tape pen just onto the back of there. Our card base is cut down to, let's have a little look at this one, 5 3/4 by about 6 1/4, and then that's just going to go into the centre with our black mat and layer onto our pattern paper. And then our piece here, what we've just created with our dome, can just go into the centre of that there, and it's all starting to sort of build together. So I'm just going to have to be a little bit careful using my tape pen onto the back of here. So we'll just go on with either side, and then we can just pop. Do you know what I might do for the middle? I'll just pop it directly onto the card base, just with that piece being flat, and this piece obviously being a little bit 3D. I'm just going to hover over that one, just make sure it's nicely lined up. Just have a little check at that top section there that it's nice and central, and then that's going to give us the almost like the basis of our card, ready to decorate with all our fabulous little pasta elements from the collection. So just burnish that down, and that's our fabulous little dome ready to go onto my card. But we'll bring in these fabulous little characters now. So all I've done is that same gorgeous little character here that I showed you earlier on. So super cute. So we've just stamped out the ravioli itself. We stamped out his little face and his 2 little arms on either side. And I found personally for me the best colours, if you're wanting the sort of pasta sort of effect, if you want something that's going to look a little bit like that, like your classic sort of yellowy pasta, I found the best 2 to go for is your light yellow blend if you're using your tri-blends, and your gold brown shade. So we'll start off with the light yellow blend, and as always, when I'm colouring, I tend to go from lightest to darkest. So we're going with the lightest of the 3 colours within our light yellow blend. We'll start off with the centre section first, and all we'll do is we'll add that colour to the edges. And then as we move towards that centre, we're just going to flick inwards, so we've got a little bit of a preserved highlight in the centre section there, where we've got no colour whatsoever. So that's the centre section, and then we'll just go around the edge where we've got this lovely sort of scallopy edge to it. And we'll just go around the edge, making sure we're going pretty much up to the outer edges of the line there, using our light yellow blend just to lay that first layer of colour down. And then we'll switch up to our mid-tone, which is a little bit darker than that first one, but still within that same colour family, still quite close in terms of shade there. And we'll just do exactly the same in terms of starting to flick that colour into the centre. So we're making sure we're not going over all that colour that we've already added down, but just starting to add a little bit more shade, a little bit more depth onto that image there. Then we'll do exactly the same with that outer section. I'm going to have it so it's a little bit lighter as we move towards the edges of those scallops, and then in the centre it's going to be a little bit darker there. And then we'll switch up to the darkest of the 3 within our light yellow blend, which is LY3. So if you are using your classics or your illustrators, for your light yellow, you're just looking for your LY colour family. You can see the colours that are on the side of this one. So it's your LY1, your 2 and your 3. So if you're using your classics and illustrators, those are sort of colour shades that you're looking for. So that's our yellow added on there, but for a little bit more dimension, we'll then go in with our gold brown shades. Our lightest is our GB6. If you want it to be a little bit more subtle, you can always go in with your gold black brown blend, which is a little bit paler. It's the same colour family, but a little bit less intense with those colours. And we'll just go in just around that section where the 2, almost like the 2 parts of the image meet, and we'll just go in adding a little bit of that brown, and then we'll just go back to our darkest of our light yellow, just to start to pull that colour out a little bit more and blend it so it's not sort of as harsh with that brown pen onto there, just blending that out. So just going over that colour, using that darkest of the yellow, just to start to blend that colour out. Then you can always go back down to your brown and just go in just to redarken that a little bit more. That's the sort of technique that I tend to use if I'm colouring that sort of yellowy pasta colour. That's the same sort of technique that I use for all of those pasta pieces. So what I've done, you guys know I struggle to make a card without two things, foam tape and drop shadows. So of course we'll make sure we've got both of those on this card. And I'm just going to make sure I've got this lined up the right way around. There we go. And we're just going to stick that together. So we've got a slight little black drop shadow onto our little piece of pasta here, our little ravioli. So that's just going to go onto there, slight offset, so the black is slightly to the left-hand side and slightly downwards, just so it's going to almost like add a bit of a matten layer, if you like. So that's a little character all ready to go. Now, instead of just popping him directly into that aperture and him potentially getting a little bit lost inside that recess, what we're going to do is we've actually taken a little strip of acetate here and I've created what's known in the business as a boinger. Now that is, yes, it is the proper name for it. It is a boinger. There's no other name for it. It's definitely a boinger. So it's just basically a little offcut of acetate, really. And I just score them at every ½ inch. So it gives you that lovely little sort of concertina effect. And what we're going to do is we'll grab our red liner tape, just because it's quite difficult. Oh my gosh, my scissors are totally stuck together. Blimey me. Oh dear. Just it's a little bit difficult with it being so 3D and with it being so boingy, it is a little bit difficult to use your tape pen onto there. So it's a lot easier to use your red liner tape, and that's just going to go onto, so one piece on that side and then another piece onto the opposite end there with your red line. Oh, there it is, stuck. Oh dear. Dear, this has become like the comedy of errors, this show, hasn't it? Dear, oh dear, there it is. Right, let's get it on the end of the poker tool. That'll help. And then, there you go. Yes, Jamie Mayer is saying nice nails, but they definitely do not help with that. I have to say that they are being more of an inconvenience at this stage. There we go, just making sure our backing is nicely burnished down. So we've removed the backing, and just the backing, not the tape as well. And we'll just pop that onto the back of there, just like so. So just removing one piece of that backing at once, and then just folding that down. So that's going to be nicely burnished. And then we'll go on to that other side there, and we'll remove that backing from the other side of our concertina. Now it's up to you how sort of much of a boinger you want. If you want a lot of boinging, then have a longer strip of acetate with more score lines. If you want a small boinger, then fewer score lines. Jamie's giggling at the amount of times I've said boinger in this show. Said it quite a few times, I have to say. But that is the card that we're making. It's a boinger dome card. But it's very succinct, that, isn't it? A boinger dome card. And he's just going to sit into the centre. I always find it easier to fold your boinger down as you position it. It just makes it a little bit easier. Then just give that a nice little burnish. And there's our little ravioli boinger in the centre there. How cute is that? Might have him popping out a little bit more. Just give that a nice little fold. There you go. So it looks like it's very 3D. But there he is, a little ravioli boinger. And then we've got a little sentiment. Of course I had to go for this one, Ravi rolling with laughter. And that's just going to go onto the bottom there. So we'll grab, of course, I've nearly made a card without foam tape or pads, but it ain't happening, quite frankly. It's I don't know if I've got it in me. So we won't be doing that. We will be adding some foam pads to this one. Just a little foam pad on the bottom there. And that will just be sitting along the bottom there. And then I had lots and lots of fun yesterday evening stamping and cutting lots and lots of different shapes of pasta. So I'll be adding a few of these just around the edges, just to sort of embellish the card a little bit. Now I've left these without the faces on, because I wanted it to be all about the little character in the centre, but I just wanted these as more like little embellishments rather than stealing that poor little boinger's thunder. So these are just going to be without their faces on. And then they're just going to sort of be almost like cascaded around the edge there. So we go with our little farfalle. We can't remember quite what it's called. Farfalle. I'm probably saying that really, really badly, so I do apologise. There's our little bow. I think this is called something like conglini or something like that. It's something like that. I'm, once again, definitely pronouncing that wrong. Somebody, please do feel free to correct me over on the comments. Yeah, thank you. This is like the Spanish word for shell. That's the only way I can remember it. There you go. And then we'll just pop that onto there. Now, you may have noticed I've got some different colours of pasta sort of poking in. I'm not going to use these for this card, but if you want to know in terms of the colours, for the green ones I've used dull green blend, and then for the orange ones it's just burnt orange blend. So that's the ones that I've used. And I think, do you know what, I think we'll leave it at that. So how cute is that? A little Boinga Dome card using that fantastic little ravioli. I mean, how much fun is that collection? You can do all your different sort of kinetic cards, all your concept cards, and quite frankly, you could just have a load of fun playing with this fantastic collection. So that is card number 1. So before we get into the next one, I've got a few people saying hello. Pat's saying, good morning, Lily and everyone. Routinely I say hi from New Jersey, but I am down in Maryland for my grandson's graduation. Well, congratulations, Pat. I hope you have a fantastic day. It's definitely the sort of memories that you want to scrapbook, that, isn't it? So you get lots of lovely photos. If you're into scrapbooking, that's a great one to scrapbook. I wonder, did you make him a graduation card using the Celebrate the Day graduation cap? Let me know, Pat. Oh, Karen, I am so jealous, so incredibly jealous. Karen is saying, morning, Lily, watching from holiday in Egypt, sitting at the pool. I'm not jealous at all, Karen. It's much nicer weather here, I'm sure. Let me know, is it warm? Let me know how warm it is. Just make me feel a little bit more jealous. And also, what time is it? Let me know. Lynn Harvey saying, I've seen lots of pictures over in the socials of this collection, and the pasta definitely makes cute little characters. It does, doesn't it? I absolutely love this collection. Lois is saying, great tip on the colours, Lily. Thank you. That's just trial and error. That's just having a little bit of an experiment. But we're all the same. If we find something that works, we'll always share it with you guys at home. Pat's saying, very cute card, Lily. Lynn Harvey's in saying, a boinga always brings fun to a project. I know. Do love a good boinga. Carol Duncan is saying, loving this card. Lois is saying, a very cute card, thank you, Lily. And Lynn Harvey is saying, a fabulous card. Oh, thank you. Should we try and make another? Well, do my best to try and make another fabulous card. We'll see how we get on with this one. Now, this one's going to be a little bit more simple, but I did promise you that we show you how you use that fantastic embossing folder. So we'll move all of that out of the way, and we'll start by focusing on our embossing folder. So we'll grab our folder from under this pile of all our bits here. I have to say the packaging for this one is really, really quite cute. I love the little sort of logo that we've got for the collection, which is really quite sweet. And we'll just grab our embossing folder. So this one is about 4 by 6 inches in size, and it's a 2D embossing folder. So all we're going to do is we're going to take our embossing folder and we're just going to run our fingers over the surface of there. Now I can feel that the shapes on this side are pushing outwards, which means that right side of the cardstock, which is this side, because there is a slightly more raised side of your linen card, which is the right size, it's going to be facing upwards, just like so. So that's just going to go into the centre of there, and then we'll just run that through our machine. Now, when it comes to a 2D embossing folder, easiest way to remember it, and quite frankly the only way I can remember it, is 2D 2 plates. So cutting plate 1 and cutting plate 2. Now if that was a 3D folder, then 3D 3 plates, easy enough. So that'd be your cutting plate, your frosted shim and your magnetic. So 2D 2 cutting plates, 3D cutting plate, magnetic and frosted. But with this one being a 2D, with your 2 cutting plates, we'll give you that beautiful emboss. So we'll just take this out of our folder for a nice big reveal. And you can see there, you get that beautiful design all over that piece there. We'll give that a little bit of a tilt so you guys can see it a little bit better at home. There we go. And then if we even turn it over to the deboss, even looks lovely on the deboss. Now what we'll do to actually highlight this a little bit better, because you can just about see it, but we want to make a little bit more of a feature of it, is we're going to take our little sanding block and we're going to give it a bit of a sand. Now, if you've got your colour core card, then that's going to give you more of a differential if you're sanding it back. Whereas any of our linen card, it's got more of a white core. So if you're sanding back your linen card, you are going to sand back to like a white core, which is going to give you that lovely, slightly distressed effect. So we'll give that a little bit of a sand. This is just using our sanding block. I don't know if it's still got them in stock. They came originally with that colour car cardstock that we brought to you last birthday in October. So we'll just give that a nice little sand back, just to start to reveal that design a little bit more. And then you can use your little cloth that it's a little bit mucky, I have to say, but hopefully it'll still do the trick. There we go, just to get rid of all that dust on the surface there that we've sanded back. Oh, I'm hearing my ear sanding block. Yes, thumbs up on that one. We have got the sanding block in stock. I believe it does come in the pack with this one, actually, little cloth. If you don't have the little cloth, it comes with your cloth, and I promise you yours will not look an absolute state like that. It is white originally, I do promise you, and you do get your little sanding block, which is super, super useful. And that's going to give you that lovely design all sanded back. Now, slightly differently, what I did when I was creating my little pre-done one at home is I actually use the deboss. So here we've sanded back on the emboss, here we've sanded back on the deboss. So instead of highlighting the images itself, it's sort of sanding back on the background. So you've got your sort of two different styles there. Which one do we go for? Emboss or deboss? Left or right? Jamie Norrie picks one on the right, and he's the only voice in my ear, so that's the one that we go with, quite frankly. Well, the voices in my head are saying, wrong tape pen, are saying agree with Jamie, so there we go. Deboss one for the win, but it's just, I think it's nice to see the different options, because every folder you've got your, almost like a 2-for-1 with your deboss and your emboss. We'll just, I've got a little bit of dust on there, but not to worry, we can be covering that up with our emboss piece, or should I say deboss piece, which is just going onto there. I'm trying to think where the yellow card is from. It's from, you know, we've brought you the Halloween and fall cardstock packs the past couple of years. It's from one of those. There's a nice yellow in there. There's also a yellow in Peacock Collection, Elegant Plumes, Graceful Plumes, whichever one, the Plumes one. Do you know what? I can never remember if it's Elegant Plumes or Graceful Plumes. One of the two. You guys at home should know what I mean, but the linen card in there's a nice yellow in there, which will work quite nicely with this collection as well. So we've got some more mats and layers, so same sort of idea once again in terms of the colours. So we've got our white panel, wrong way around, there we go, matte and layered onto some black, and then matte and layered onto that same yellow cardstock, just to keep those colours flowing throughout the card. So that's just going to go into the centre of there. Then our little topper that we've created using that embossing folder is going to go onto that. I don't have any foam tape, so I'm going to have to use these foam pads, which is not ideal, but hi ho, anything to get a little bit of dimension on our cards, we'll do it. So these are the nice long strip ones, so I've just cut these so they're a little bit thinner, so I'm not using quite as many of them. And then we'll just have that, just to keep this standing proud, just because this is almost like the focal point of our card. We want to make a bit of a song and dance of this lovely embossing folder, so that's why we're raising it up using our foam pads. And that's just going to go onto there. I'll add another one just on the bottom, just to make sure it's nice and supported. Otherwise, if you're not adding quite enough foam pads, what can happen is you can have areas that almost like dip or sort of sink in the middle, which is absolutely not what we want. So we'll just peel the backing off all of these, and then that will just stick to the centre of our card that we've just laid up. Always the last one that's a tricky one. There we go. And there's no sort of right or wrong way to this, I don't think. I think either way is as good as the other. You could even have it in landscape as well, so lots of options when it comes to this fabulous embossing folder. And that will just sit into the centre there with all those lovely layers, just to start to build our card together. And then what we've done is we've taken once again our fabulous circle nesting dies, and I'm just going to take that one that we've die cut in our white, and we're just going to stick that onto a piece of our black here, because what I'm going to do is we're going to actually cut around the edge. So if we were to use the next nesting die up, the border is a little bit longer than the, a little bit wider even than the borders that we've used for our mats and layers. So just to give us that really nice thin mat and layer of our black, what we'll do is we'll actually stick this to our black card, and then we'll just cut the black circle just by hand. So I'm just going around with my scissors here. I'm conscious that we've got only 15 minutes left, so I'm trying to be as quick as I can, just whipping around the edge of this piece here. So I'm just turning the cardstock as we go, just to give us that nice little thin border of black all around the edge. Then for our areas that are a little bit scratty, then all we do is we just go back in and just cut in as needed. But that, I think, is looking neat enough for me. There you go. No one would know that's not been die cut. So that's just going to go onto our card, I think on that bottom left-hand side. So we'll bring back in our foam pads, and we'll just stick this onto that left-hand corner. So we'll have a couple of those nice big foam pads onto there. And that's going to be our topper, where we can start to add some of our lovely little stamped and die-cut pastas onto there. So we'll add that onto that bottom corner, just like so. Then we've got a little sentiment that we can tuck under there. So just before that's fully stuck down, I'm just going to add a little bit of our tape pen, just to stick our sentiment flat. And that's just going to have a little bit of shape just by curling that ever so slightly. And then we'll just tuck that under there. So that's just sort of sitting under our little die cut circle nicely. Then in order to fill out this area, what we'll do is we'll bring in some of our lovely little characters or little pastas that we've stamped. Once again, adding them to a little bit of a drop shadow just to make them stand proud from the card a little bit more, because if we was to stick that directly onto there, it does get a little bit lost without it having any sort of border to it. So all we'll do is we'll just add a slight offset black drop shadow onto there, and then that will just sit onto there. Then I've got a couple of extras. We've got our little piece here, our little ravioli that will once again we'll just drop shadow. And what you'll notice with this one is it's very easy to line the die up because all of the different four corners are a slightly different shape. So sort of pick one, so let's pick that one there that's a little bit flatter. That looks like it's going to be that one that's a little bit flatter. So I'll line that up, hover it over the top. You can see there that's going to line up perfectly. And then you can just line it up like so. And a lot of the different pasta shapes are like that. There's almost like little quirks to them, if you like, so it just makes it a little bit easier in terms of lining stuff up. And I think we'll just have a little pair of those two onto there, which I think is quite cute. So we'll go in once again with a couple of foam pads onto the back of here. So I'll just cut that one in half so we can have a piece on the left and the right hand sides of that little farfalle, or however we are pronouncing it, little bow pasta. That's just going to go onto that, and then that'll go. In my ear I'm hearing apparently they reckon Ben will know them all. Do you think? I do wonder. Oh, I was going to say I do wonder if he's been revising. I've got it from good authority in my ear. Apparently Ben has been revising, so he'll put me to complete and utter shame. What we'll have to ask him if he knows what Dishy Volante is, because I bet he might not know what Dishy Volante is. That might be the one that gets him. But there you go, very, very simple, quick and easy card. So a lot more simple, a lot more sort of clean and simple in comparison with that first one. But how cute is that? Just using your sort of standing back technique with that embossing folder. It's a little bit difficult to see that on camera, but to the naked eye, it is a little bit easier to see all the detail. Ah, there we go. There he is. Got all that, all the detail onto there. There we go. Right, card number 2. Now, card number 3. We're going to give it a go. But all I wanted to show you, the key thing I wanted to show you with this one is the technique. So I've realised I've not got my stamping platform out, so give me a second. I'm just nipping to the side. And I've just got to grab my ink. This time, I promise, I've just been heckled in my ear. Don't drop it in the bin. If I did, that'd be the 3rd thing I've dropped in the bin this morning. So quite frankly, it won't put it past me, but I'll try not to. So we'll do a little bit of a stamping technique in just a few moments' time. But before we do that, I've noticed we've got a few more comments coming in. So say hello to all the lovely people that were saying hello to me this morning. Barbara is saying hello from Indiana, but it's early over there, Barbara. Alch is saying nice card, Lily. Kelly O'Sullivan on YouTube is saying, morning Lily, loving the apron and loving the pasta card. Yes, if you've just tuned in, I'm not just wearing this because I feel like it. It's part of the Showstopper, believe it or not. And, guys, stateside, it's tariff free, which is very, very exciting. So you get your Showstopper totally tariff free and a brand new exclusive apron, which is pretty exciting. Oh, Karen's got back to me. Karen is saying, hi Lily. Gonna make me feel even more jealous, Karen. 32 degrees in Egypt. Oh, it's 12:37, so it's 2 hours ahead of the UK. Oh, but it's the hottest part of the day as well, isn't it? But it's absolutely beautiful. I'll be travelling back to Scotland on Monday, and I'm sure it'll be cold. Well, it's definitely not going to be 32 degrees. So Karen, make the most. I hope you're having a lovely, lovely holiday. Even though I am jealous, I do hope you have a lovely time. Stephen Nicole saying, lovely colour of your nails, Lily. Yes, we have to go for pink. You guys at home know I love my pink. So we did go for a little bit of pink this time. Somebody described it the other day, it's a bit like a Neapolitan strawberry ice cream. So we're going for like a summer vibe. We need an ice cream collection. We've had a pasta one. Maybe that could be a suggestion, ice cream collection. That'd be quite fun, wouldn't it? Michelle Harris on YouTube is saying, good morning. Pamela Greenidge is saying, all this pasta, how did you know I was cooking lasagna for dinner? Oh, just like Jamie in our ear who had lasagna last night. Very nice, very, very nice. Lois is saying, very cute card, thank you, Lily. And Pamela is saying, fresh looking and cute card. Yeah, it's very sort of crisp and clean, isn't it, that style, which I very much like. Now, I showed you over on my social actually last night, I posted a picture of this card, which I have to say I had so much fun creating. It's been created using all of the different individual components of that pasta. So I'll show you the sort of basic technique. Obviously, we're not going to have a chance to do all the colouring, because I have to say it's not a quick one to colour, but definitely a very enjoyable one to colour. But I will show you the technique. So if you do want to recreate this one at home, then you should have all sort of the know-how in order to do that. So what we've done to start with is we've taken a piece of our white cardstock. We've cut this one down to 4 inches by 6 inches, roughly. And what I've done is I've actually taken one of our rectangular nesting dies, and I've just drawn, you can just about see that there, faint pencil mark, probably about an inch, just under an inch in from the edge, just so we've got a little bit of a border to follow. It's going to make it a little bit easier, so we're not sort of like veering off in all sorts of different directions as we start to stamp up our pasta. Now the key thing when it comes to this technique is your masking tape. So any sort of masking tape, I don't know if we've still got the roll that we brought to you a few years ago in stock, any sort of masking sheeps? A masking sheep? That's a new one, isn't it? Definitely not masking sheep, masking sheet. There you go, any of those will work. I tell you, if you don't actually have any of those though, what you can do is you can take your copier paper and you can actually spray it on the back with your repositionable adhesives like your stick and spray, and that will create your own masks. So that's the key thing. So for all the pasta shapes that you're going to use, we're not using all of them for this card, we're just using a selection, but all the ones that you're going to be using, you need to stamp and cut them out from your masking tape. So that's what we've done to start with. So first of all, we'll start off with our little ravioli. And all we'll do is we'll take our stamp and we'll just position it roughly centrally on that pencil mark that we've got there. And we're just going to pick that up using our stamping platform. Now, of course, you can use your rock blocks, you can use your acrylic blocks if you find that easier, but I find it a little bit easier for this sort of technique to go in with your stamping platform, which is what I'm using today. And we're just going to stamp, or we're going to ink rather, all over the stamp there. We'll just turn that over, and then we'll just stamp that first image onto that left-hand side. Or we'll try to. I've missed half the inking off. Let's go back in with our inking. Make sure we've got plenty of ink onto there. And then we'll just turn it back round, making sure I'm pressing down on that area that I missed the first time round. There we go. Perfect second time round. It might have been a case if I didn't press on that area firm enough, or it might have even been a case that I've not actually added enough ink onto there. Oh, just seeing a message come through. Sorry, I get distracted quite easily, can you tell? Masking tape is back in stock. How exciting. Love that. So if you've not got your masking tape, that is a crafty must-have. So get yourself over on the website, and it's what you're going to use to do all these sort of masking techniques. So now that we've stamped that image, what we'll do is we'll take the corresponding mask here. So once again, I'm focusing on one of the slightly irregular looking edges of this one and lining it up with that image. So all we'll do is we'll just position that over the top of that image there. You can see I've already done a little bit of masking with this one, so you've got all of those stamp lines on there already. So that's onto there, and then we'll grab our next one and we'll take our little bow for this one. And all we're going to do is we'll take our stamp, and we want to make sure we're overlapping with that stamp that we've already done there. So if you're placing it to the side there, then there's no point in masking it. So what we need to do is we need to make sure that we're actually popping it over that mask. If you want it overlapped a lot, you can. If you want just a slight overlap, that's going to work as well. Whatever the sort of look that you're going for. But we're just going to pop that onto there, turn that over. Once again, pick up our stamp onto our platform, take our ink pad, try and do a bit of a better job of inking it up this time. So nice, even pressure all over there. Then we'll just turn it over, and then we're just going to stamp. So applying even pressure, using our fingertips all over that stamp there. I've done it again. I'm not having too much luck with my stamping today. I need to practice. There you go. And that's going to be onto there then perfectly. Now, this is where the magic comes. This is where you remove your mask here. I'm just going to grab a corner of that. I'm not wanting to rip my mask because I do want to reuse it. And you can reuse them time and time again. You can see, yeah, there you get that nice overlap technique. Now what we'll do is we'll bring in the mask of the image that we just stamped, which is the little bow here. And we're just going to find which is the right way round with that one, which is not that way, which is going to be the other way. There we go. Because it's not perfectly symmetrical, just to give you a slightly more natural look. So you do just need to flip it around until you've got it into the right positioning. That's just going to go onto there, and then we'll choose whatever we want to have as our next piece of pasta, which this time around we'll go for our little tortellini, I think it's tortellini, which Jamie's going to get on the old Tinterweb and let us know. Probably let us know that we were also pronouncing it terribly wrong. And we'll just once again pick this up. Let's see, third time lucky, if I can be a little bit better with my stamping this time. There we go, plenty of ink all over there. I mean, the beauty of using a stamping platform is if you do miss a little bit, then you don't need to worry. You can always just go back in and re-stamp. And I have just had the official confirmation in my ear. It is tortellini. There we go. I've missed a bit on the bottom there. There we go. And then all we'll do is we'll grab our poker tool once again just to remove that mask. You can see how you start to build up your frame here. So it's just a case really of just repeating this until you've worked all the way around the frame. You could do this for borders, you could do it for circular arrangements. It doesn't always just have to be in a rectangle like we're doing here. So we pop our little tortellini mask onto there, and then we'll just choose whatever we want to use as our next piece of pasta. So we go for this one. I kind of want to say rigatoni, but I might be wrong. I might have completely made that. I know it's a type of pasta, but it might not be that sort of pasta. Rigatoni, it is. Blimey me. We've had a great suggestion, and it's a shame we've not done this. We've missed a little bit of a trick with this one. Rebecca Dance is saying, should be the Friday Night Live game, name the pastas. That would have been a good one, but I suppose it would have been, we know that Ben's been revising, so I suppose it would have been one that you could have sort of got a little bit of a leg up. Do I know which game it is? I can't remember. I probably do. Oh, I don't think I do know the game. James is saying the name in my ear. I'm not sure if I've seen it. Oh, stay tuned. Well, I won't be here, but Craig and Ben will be here. I can watch. At least it won't be as stressful for me this week, having to play Ben. Very stressful last week if you didn't tune in. Yes, a little reminder in case anybody's forgetting. In case Ben's out there watching, who won last week? Oh yeah, it was me. I know. I was very, very chuffed with that, I have to say. I've mentioned it quite a few times in the past week. So there's our next piece of pasta going onto there. Now you just repeat this all over that piece there, and it will give you this lovely sort of effect. Now, what we've done with this one is we've taken the same pens that I was talking to you about earlier. So for your yellowy pieces of pasta, we're going in with our light yellow blend and our gold brown shades. For our greeny pasta, we are using our dull green blend. Once again, we always absolutely hate the name of that. Dull green is such a disservice to this fabulous pen. And then we've also used our burnt orange blend for all those lovely orange pieces of pasta. Now what we've done is we've just taken some of our black card, a little bit of an 1/8 of an inch border of black card all around the edge there, matte and laid it onto our card base, popped our little sentiment in the middle, and all we've done, I've done a Craig, I have to say, with this one. I've used my ice grey blend around the edge just to give that a little bit of a shadow, so you can see it feels like it's popping off the page even though that topper is totally flat onto there. So I've just used the mid-tone and I've just blended it out with a lighter colour tone, so it's not a real harsh line around the edge, it's more of a sort of softened, diffused drop shadow all around the edge of there. And that's a sort of super simple thing you can create. So we've sort of started off with something a little bit more complex. If we rewind the show all the way back to the beginning, we started off with our Boingo Dome card, so showing you how you can create your slightly more involved concept style cards. We've gone for something really sort of fresh and clean and simple, using that gorgeous embossing folder, something very modern with this one. And then finally, I think this would be quite a good one for the blokes, you know, maybe teenagers as well, something that looks quite fresh, quite modern, quite contemporary, just using a fantastic technique with your masking sheets. How much fun is that? 3 very different cards. I know Craig's got all sorts to show you throughout the course of the day as well. It will be coming up on Wake Up Call, and then you've got your official launch at 2 p.m. UK time. So you're going to have lots and lots of inspiration using this fantastic collection. Now, I will go through the boards one last time, but I will say a little hello. Any comments that I've not read out? Let me have a little look. Let me grab my boards first. Right. Who have I not said hello to? Oh, I've done that thing where I've swiped and it's gone all over the shop. Right. No, we're back. Here we are. Lois is saying a very cute card. Thank you, Lily. I think that's about it. We're up to date. Jan's telling us masking tape is back in stock, and I think we're all up to date. So we will finish the show by showing you this fantastic collection here. It is absolutely amazing, and it is already available over on the website. No need to wait for 2 o'clock. No need to wait for Wake Up Call. Wherever you are in the world, you can shop. And the fantastic thing about this collection, quite apart from the fact that it's absolutely stunning and so much fun, quite apart from the fact that you get a brand new merchandise apron, is the fact that for you guys stateside it is tariff free, so no need to worry about those pesky little tariffs. You have got a tariff free bundle Showstopper, which is absolutely incredible. So first of all, we've got our pasta party, which really is the heart of your collection here. You've got all those fantastic pasta shapes in stamp form alongside your matching dies. Very easy to work with those. They are metal dies that have the sort of aperture in the centre, so very easy to line up alongside those fantastic little pieces of pasta. And then you've got the really fun element of this collection, all the little faces that you can add onto your pasta pieces to give them some lovely character, and you have all your little arms and legs as well. Great to be able to use the pasta on its own, so you can use those as standalone elements, but if you want to bring in that really fun and playful factor, bring in all those little expressions, and that's really going to bring your pieces of pasta to life. Then we've got our fantastic All the Pastabilities embossing folder, 2D embossing folder with this one, absolutely stunning level of detail. And like we were saying earlier, if you want to cut into this, if you want to be using them as separate little embellishments, of course you can be doing that, or just using it as a panel for a quick and simple card. It's going to look absolutely outstanding. And then you're also going to get your fantastic, this for me is the crowning glory of the collection. This is what makes this collection super, super fun. All these incredible puns. Stay tuned for the rest of the day, because I know Ben is going to be going to town with all the pasta puns. I'm dreading it already, quite frankly. I do feel sorry for Craig. I think he'll be absolutely exhausted come the end of the day, and the guys in the gallery as well. Might have had quite enough, but I think Johnny will be as bad. We'll see. Well, there's going to be a lot of puns. It's going to be a puntastic day here on Crafters TV. And you've got all those fantastic puns in stamp form just to finish off those ones absolutely perfectly. Then finally, oh dear, luckily I can't hear Johnny, which is brilliant. So I don't have to hear them. I'll be hiding in the office come this afternoon. And you are getting your fantastic paper pad as well with all these gorgeous designs. Some of them very pasta related. Some of them a little bit more universal that you can be using with lots of different elements in the collection. Alongside all of this amazing Pasta La Vista, you are getting your fantastic crafting royalty apron as part of your Showstopper. Wow, it's absolutely flown by, that show. It's been absolutely fantastic. Make sure you come back. You've got an hour's time. Wake up call. It's 12 p.m. UK time. Ben and Craig will be back, and I'll be back. I'll be back over here tomorrow for Make It Saturday and a craft along alongside Craig. It's going to be a fabulous day. Make sure you stay tuned and shop along for that fantastic Showstopper.